Republican walks out on U.S. gun regulation talks. Democrat remains hopeful. Washington. The lead Republican negotiator in U.S. Senate efforts to craft a bipartisan gun safety invoice walked out of the talks on Thursday, at the same time as the lead Democrat remained constructive that lawmakers may want to vote on regulation before leaving for a 2-week July 4 recess. It's fish or reduce bait, Senator John Cornyn stated after hours of negotiations that covered his fellow Republican Senator Tom Tillis and Democratic Senators Chris Murphy and Kyrsten Sinema. I don't know what they've in mind, but I'm through speaking, Cornyn stated. However, Tillis and Murphy later said the talks were near achieving agreement and delivered that legislative textual content for an invoice may want to emerge in coming days. The bipartisan institution has been operating on a deal to lower gun violence, considering the fact that a gunman killed 19 faculty youngsters and adults in Uvalde, Texas, less than 2 weeks after a racist capturing in Buffalo, New York left 10 lifeless. Talks have slowed down in recent days. To land a deal like this is tough. It comes with plenty of feelings. It comes with political chance to both sides. But we're close sufficient that we ought to be capable of get there, said Murphy, the lead Democratic negotiator. Murphy later issued an announcement saying, I believe we can deliver this to a vote next week. Time to pass most important legislation is jogging brief because the November 8 midterm elections, whilst Republicans are trying to win again control of Congress, draw nearer. Murphy and Tillis each informed reporters that group of workers have began drafting legislative text for almost all of provisions that lawmakers have agreed on. Tillis recommended that text may be to be had as early as Friday. Tillis, pronouncing he expected a deal, declined to speak in element. Approximately the negotiations were too close and right down to the very last ranges. The organization announced a framework on measures to curb gun violence on Sunday. It did no longer go as some distance as Democrats, which includes President Joe Biden, had sought, but could nonetheless be the most large action to fight gun violence to emerge from Congress in years if surpassed. Disagreements remained over predominant provisions, the way to offer incentives to states to create red flag legal guidelines, in which weapons may be quickly taken away from folks that are deemed risky, and the boyfriend loophole, which permits government to block abusive spouses from buying firearms however does not cover intimate partners who are not married. Cornyn, whose domestic state of Texas does now not have a crimson flag law and is visible as not likely to enact one, desires the funding for that provision to cover different efforts for human beings with intellectual infection, inclusive of disaster intervention programs. Tillis stated the negotiators had been working out a mechanism that might allow federal investment for states that need to adopt crimson flag laws and states that want other intervention packages, with parity the ultimate goal. He also said the lawmakers were looking to current nation legal guidelines as models for the boyfriend loophole provision.